You know, when you hear the word journaling, you probably think of that Dear Diary stuff we all did as kids, right? But what if I told you it's actually one of the most powerful, scientifically proven tools for getting some mental clarity? Today, we're going to dive into how the simple act of putting your thoughts into words can totally change the way you feel. Ever have one of those days where this question is just bouncing around your head? You feel completely overwhelmed, like this big tangled mess of stress and feelings, but you can't even put a name to it. It's a super common thing to feel. And the solution? Well, it might be a lot simpler than you think. It all starts with a blank page.
All right, so let's get into the good stuff, the actual science behind this. This isn't just some wellness fad. There is a ton of research that shows writing our thoughts down has some pretty profound effects on our minds and even our bodies.
Yeah, researchers like the pioneer James Pennebaker over at Stanford, they don't just call it journaling, they call it expressive writing. And that name, it's got some serious weight behind it because it's a specific, studied practice. It's all about writing your deepest thoughts and feelings about stressful stuff, and the results are pretty stunning.
So how stunning are we talking? Well, get this. A recent study found that just 15 minutes of this a day can slash anxiety symptoms by a massive 31%. Just think about that for a second. That is a huge, huge impact for a habit that's simple and completely free.
And the benefits go way, way beyond just feeling less anxious. Not even close. We're talking about decades of research showing real physical health improvements, like a stronger immune system, lower blood pressure, and then you get these incredible performance boosts, like people finding a new job faster, or students literally getting better grades. It just goes to show that processing our emotions isn't just in our heads, it affects our entire lives.
Okay, so we know it works, we've seen the science. But what does therapeutic journaling actually look like? In the real world, how do we turn this big idea into something you can actually do tonight?
So, the core technique is often called a brain dump. Sometimes you'll hear it called morning pages. And honestly, the name says it all. You just unload. It's pure stream of consciousness. There are absolutely no rules. This is not about writing beautiful poetry. It's about getting all that noise out of your head and onto the paper.
I love this analogy, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan. It's basically Dumbledore's Pensieve, right? You're literally pulling those thoughts and worries out of your head so you can look at them from a distance. And once they're on the page, they just don't have the same power over you anymore.
And this right here, this might be the most important rule of the whole thing. There are no rules. Seriously, forget grammar, forget spelling, forget if your handwriting is a total mess. This is not for anyone else. The real value is in the act of processing the thought. The goal is to get it out, not to get it right.
Okay. That all sounds great in theory, but we all know that feeling of just staring at a blank page. It can be super intimidating. So how do you actually start? Don't worry, here's a simple starter kit to make it ridiculously easy.
Let's just call out the elephant in the room. The number one reason people quit? A whopping 71% say it just feels like another chore on an already crazy to-do list. But the techniques we're about to go through, they take that excuse completely off the table. They are fast, they are simple, and they work. This might be the easiest habit you will ever build. It's called highlight journaling. At the end of your day, all you do is write down one good thing that happened. One sentence. That's it. It could be tiny, it could be huge. What this does is it builds momentum, and it actually trains your brain to start looking for the good stuff in every day.
Building on that, we have the Gratitude 3. It's just as simple. Just list 3 things you're grateful for. And you don't have to overthink it. It could be your morning coffee, a song you heard on the radio, a comfy pair of socks. It sounds small, but research shows a simple gratitude practice like this can boost your happiness by up to 25%.
And finally, the one-sentence journal. This is another one for the minimalists out there that just completely removes the pressure. Just sum up your day, the good, the bad, the boring, all of it, in one single sentence. It's a super low-stakes way to build that habit of reflecting every day. So, you've started with one of these simple methods. Awesome. Now for the tricky part. How do you make sure you don't just do it for 3 days and then quit? This last section is all about turning that little effort into a lasting automatic habit. This is a classic trick for building habits. It's called habit stacking. And the idea is so simple but so powerful. You just link your new journaling habit to something you already do every single day without even thinking about it. So put your journal next to your coffee maker. Put it on your nightstand so you see it right after you brush your teeth. It makes it automatic.
Now let's talk about some common ways we kind of sabotage ourselves, because we all do it. If you feel like you're making it too complicated, just go back to basics, lists, one sentence, that's it. If your entries feel a little shallow, just ask yourself why. Why did that make me happy? Why am I so stressed about this? And if you keep forgetting to write, stop hiding your journal in a drawer. Leave it out where you can't possibly miss it. These are just simple little fixes to keep you going.
Okay, here's a really cool, kind of advanced tip for when you're dealing with something really heavy. If writing "I feel so overwhelmed" is just too much, try creating a little distance. Write about yourself in the third person. He felt overwhelmed by the deadline. It sounds weird, but that tiny shift can make it so much easier to process those intense emotions without getting totally swamped by them.
And that really gets to the heart of it all, doesn't it? This quote from a therapist just nails why this stuff matters so much. Journaling isn't just about managing stress. It's about self-awareness. It's about building a real, honest-to-goodness connection with yourself.
So let's do a quick recap. What are the big things to remember? Number 1, this stuff works. The science is solid. Number 2, start simple. A single sentence a day is a huge win. 3, it's about processing, not perfection. And finally, hook it on to a habit you already have to make it stick for good.
So I'll just leave you with this one question. It doesn't have to be some deep, dark secret. It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't even have to be a full sentence. But what is one single thing swirling around in your head right now that you could put on paper before you go to sleep tonight?